Hey guys, so first off, sorry I'm gone. My daughter's sick again. She's got pink eye, which is the second round of this, and they don't let her come to daycare when she has pink eye because it's really contagious to the other kids. So, you guys have a sub again today. Hopefully, you're all behaving for the sub. Um, so, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fill in this note sheet. Now, you guys should all have hard copies of the notes, or you should have pulled it up on your iPad. And I'm going to fill it in real quick, and you guys can fill in along with me. At the end, I'm also going to give you a QR code to this video so that if you want to watch it again, then you can do that. So first off, this is going to be about testing similarity. So we learned about similarity and what it is last time. Um, but what we want to do is specifically on some of the Khan Academy lessons, they ask you if two triangles are similar. So we need to figure out, and this is the essential question, how can I tell if two triangles are similar if I have a limited amount of information? So anybody that's done the Khan Academy assignments yet, you've seen that they're going to give you triangles and they're not going to give you everything about the triangles. They're just going to give you either a couple of angles or maybe the sides and then ask you if the two triangles are similar. So let's learn about how we can take that information and decide if the triangles are similar. So the first question I have on here says, what do I have to know about the sides to determine similarity? And so specifically what we want to look at here is sides, okay? So I'm going to highlight sides real quick. And the next part's going to be about angles, but this is about if they've given us information about sides. And so we can think back to the definition of similarity, and we know that if two triangles are similar, then the corresponding sides all have the same proportion. So we can sort of say that same thing backwards, and we can say if the corresponding sides, sorry about my handwriting here, corresponding sides have the same proportion, same proportion, then the triangles are similar. Okay, and you guys can pause at any point if you need to. So just holler at the sub and tell them that you want to pause to write that down. And again, sorry about the handwriting. But let's look at an example. So if I take that rule and I make two triangles, so let's just draw two triangles, and let's say that this one has sides of 4, 4, 6, and this one has sides of, let's just make this easy and go 8, 8, 12. And now I want to know, are these two triangles similar? Um, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say, all right, so I'm going to make fractions. So 4, so that's this 4 here, right? So 4 corresponds, whoops, 4 corresponds to 8, and that's this 8 here. So I've made a proportion, I made a fraction. And I want to see if that is going to be equal to my other proportion. So let's do, let's change the color. So let's make a fraction out of these corresponding sides. Okay, so that's another 4 and 8. And then let's make a fraction out of these two corresponding sides, 6 and 12. Okay, so now if I take a look at it, I want all of my proportions to be the same. So when I reduce these fractions, they should all be exactly the same. And what I'm going to see is if I do reduce them, I'm going to see that 4 over 8 is the same as 1 over 2. And obviously this other 4 over 8 is also 1 over 2. And 6 over 12 is also equal to 1 over 2. So there we go. All my proportions are the same. And so I can conclude that, yes, they are similar. And so one of your Khan Academy assignments is going to be all stuff just like this. Um, okay, so I've drawn too big. So let's make some of this stuff smaller. All right, so I'll make that smaller, move there. Sorry, while I deal with my formatting here so I can fit everything on, and then we'll make this smaller, and we'll move that like there. Does that make that looks good? Okay. Now, what do I have to know about angles to determine similarity? So sorry guys if I'm getting a little bit long-winded here, but I want to get these notes in. So what do I have to know about the angles to determine similarity? So now let's think about triangles and the angles. And we think back again to our definition of similarity. The definition of similarity said that if two triangles are similar, then all of their angles are equal. So we can think the other way, and we can say if all the angles are equal, if all angles are equal, or congruent, I should probably say. If all angles are equal or congruent, then the triangle is similar. All right, nice. And again, if you need time to write that, you can ask the sub to pause. But now let's look at two different triangles. So let's say that I've got a triangle here, and I've got a triangle here, and let's say that I want to. Whoops. Let's make that triangle a little bit different size. Let's make it look similar, like that. Okay. And so now let's say that I've got angles. And so maybe this one has an angle of, oh, I don't know, that's less than 90. Let's say this is 70, and let's say this one is 60. And so 60 plus 70 is, oh, I don't know, what is that, guys? 130. So this one would have to be 50, right? Okay. Um, and so if this triangle were going to be similar, then we would want to see the exact same angles, 60, 70, 50. All right, that makes sense. So obviously, if they give us two triangles and the angles in all three are the same, then I know that the two are similar. But what if they did this? What if they only gave us two angles? So let's say that 70 wasn't there. Okay, so they only give us two angles. Um, well, if they only give us two, that's okay. We really only need two um, because once we know two angles, we can figure out the third angle because they all have to add up to 180. So we just add them together and subtract from 180, and then we can find the third angle. So if we know that any two angles are the same, then we can say that the triangles are similar. So let's write that down here. Let's say only need to know two angles. Okay, now they're going to make it a little bit trickier, okay? And here's what they're going to do. They're going to give you, and this is in Khan Academy, all right? So I want to get you guys ready to do that Khan Academy. Here's what they're going to do. They're going to give you 60 and 70, and then they're going to give you 60 and 50. So they're going to give you something that looks just like these two triangles. And so obviously, the two angles listed in the two triangles are not the same right now. One has 60 and 70, the other has 60 and 50. But what you guys need to realize is I can see this and go, oh, well, 60 and 70, those add together to make 130. And then this remaining angle has to be 50. And then 60 and 50, they add together to make 110. So this remaining angle has to be 70. And so by filling in the third angle, now I can see that the two triangles are going to be similar. So remember, here's our two rules just in review. So if we look up here, if we're talking about sides, if the corresponding sides have the same proportions, all three corresponding sides, all three sets have to have the same proportions, then we know they're similar. Or if we know about angles, if all the angles are equal, then the triangle is similar, and we really only need to know two angles. So if we know that two angles are congruent, then if any two triangles have two of the same angle, then they have to be similar. Okay, there we go. That concludes this thing. Let's figure out how to stop.